Hello, friends. I just want to talk to you about today's episode before you get into it. So I had my friend Gabe Cole come on, and you'll hear it a couple times on here. It's mostly whole underscore Mrs. Cole on Instagram, and we talk about like it says in her name, mostly whole eating, whole foods, Whole 30, those types of things. At the same time, we talk about whole lifestyle changes, healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, healthy products, and also around healthy. And she says it better than I do on the episode. I can't remember now. Beauty products, I believe, is what we talked. Was it beauty products? I can't remember. But she is a rep for Beauty Counter and their products. So we talk about that as well as fitness and what she does. Why is it important to her? What does it help her? For goals, anything like that. Mind, mentality type stuff. Why did she participate in fitness and what what gyms does she go to, etc. And then we finished with some rapid fire type questions and just an overall fun conversation, a good perspective on something a little different than what we might focus in on this show around, really sport centric type stuff. This was more so around healthiness of your, mind and body. And she also talks about how her and her husband and a group of friends are participating in a whole life challenge. It's a 6-week challenge, and we go through that and what's important about that. And in 6 weeks, we're going to have her back on with some people from that group, and it's going to be an interesting conversation. How did it go? How did that 6-week challenge go for them? What did they learn from it? What did they hate from it? What was great about it? Everything in between. So I think it'll be a good conversation, again, because it is important in life to have, a healthy balance. And it doesn't have to be around sports or fitness. It can be around food. It could be around what you use in your house, product-wise, all that stuff. I'm becoming more and more a believer of that than I ever have in the past. I just thought kind of, and I mentioned a couple times on here, is it a fad, whatnot, which you'll hear. But overall, fun conversation. I say that about everyone. Oh, it's a fun conversation. It was a great conversation. It really is. Every time I bring somebody on here, I do have a really good time around what they want to talk about and what we end up talking about, because it really opens up the conversation, and I try not to have a lot of stuff prepared because I'd rather have someone sit across the table from me and have an open conversation, because I think that's where you learn the most about somebody. And today, I've known Gabe for 5 years. I learned a lot more about her than I ever have in the 5 years that we've been that we've known each other and have meetings with each other because she is a client of mine and works for a client of mine, but has turned into a personal friendship. And it was good to learn more about her today in a fun atmosphere where we had a couple beers and had a good conversation. So I hope you enjoy this one. As always, give it a like, rate it. If you're on Apple or anything else, rate the conversation, rate the episode. Give me a like on Instagram. You can follow Gabe at mostlywhole _ Mrs. Cole. If you found this podcast, you don't know where to find me, you can follow me at 2 Cents Worth Podcast, or send me an email at 2centsworthpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know what you like about the show, what any topics you want to talk about, you want to hear me talk about in upcoming episodes. And I hope you enjoy this one. It was a fun episode. And again, another great conversation and more to come. So thank you. Welcome to 2 Cents Worth. I'm your host, Ryan. I don't need to say my last name. I've said it plenty of times. You guys know who I am. I am here with, and I was thinking about this today, Gabe. It is almost 5 years that you and I have known each other.
Is it really?
April of 2014
oh my God.
is when, so Gabe and I, so I'm here with Gabe Cole. Sorry. I'm here with Gabe Cole. And you and I have, Gabe works for a client of mine outside of this. And we have been working together since April of 2014.
Yeah.
So almost 5 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I mean, I guess if I think about it, it has been that long.
So I want you to think about this for a second, because we didn't talk about this before we started recording. 5 years.
It's a long time.
And look where we're at now. You're in my bonus room in the Bears Den studio recording a podcast.
That's awesome.
Would you have thought 5 years ago, the first
Absolutely
conversation you had with me, that you would ever want to hang out with me in my own house and have a couple beers or cocktails?
Probably not.
Probably not. Because I probably wouldn't have wanted to have the same thing with you. Not in a bad way, but it's like you don't mix, business with friendship and anything like that. But over 5 years, I feel like we've built a nice little friendship together.
Yep. I would
outside
agree.
of work, which
This
is nice.
So fun.
Yeah. So Gabe Cole is here, and we are going to talk today about healthy eating, cooking, lifestyle, products, fitness,
That's a lot.
beer, everything. I'm going to close the room door for a second, and I want you to explain, because my kids are crying, I want you to explain in 30 seconds,
Okay.
who are you? And I explain why you're here, but why are you here? Who are you and why are you here?
Awesome. Okay. So my name is Gabe. I am actually a Charlottean, so I grew up here. Was not born here, but have been here since I was 3. Lived outside of Charlotte for about 10 years, but made my way back. And I am really, really passionate about clean living, healthy lifestyles, whether that's fitness, clean eating, safer products in your home, and beauty products. And so that's what I am excited to share with you.
How can people find you?
I am on Instagram, mostly Whole Mrs. Cole.
It rhymes. And it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because, Gabe shares a lot of stories around everything that she's cooking, the products, where she gets them, where to find them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you do at times go over some of the nutritional values of them. Okay.
Yep, ingredients.
Like why they are considered clean compared to other products. And then here in Charlotte, if you live in Charlotte or the surrounding areas, especially North and South Carolina, and I have to imagine across the U.S., I don't know about globally, but I don't want to call it a fad. I just feel like it's more of, there's more awareness now around food, grocery stores. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? So, like, how can certain grocery stores, corner a certain market and try and pull consumers in there? We were talking before you got on here, there's a Sprouts grocery store right around the corner from my house. It's the only one in Charlotte that exists. And you said you wanted to go buy it because
I don't have one near
we
me.
don't have one, right? And so, like, I think there's just more this awareness about what's in your food, and I'll probably speak out of turn here, and someone will try and correct me, and I don't really care. I think a lot of people will attribute a lot of things that are going on, especially in the U.S. around, like, the increase in diabetes, and there are people that attribute why autism has become so prevalent. And I had a friend on a couple weeks ago, Ashley Chastain. She owns Complete ABA, where she is her company helps kids with autism. And she didn't say this, but I have read, like, people talk about, like, the food and the steroids in the food and everything else like that. There's no scientific evidence yet, but could attribute to why we're seeing an increase in all of these things.
For
So,
sure.
My wife and I have certainly tried. We're trying to be better, especially with 2 kids. But why, for you, right? So, you've been, how long have you been focused on, like, clean eating? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we'll get into the lifestyle part of it first, or second, because I think everybody can
relate
to the
food.
eating and the
Yeah.
food part of it. Yeah.
So my journey is actually a long one.
Okay,
And
go
not many
for it.
people know this about me, but I was diagnosed with high blood pressure when I was like 22 or 23 years old. So
Okay.
really young. And they did a bunch of tests on me. I did the DASH diet, which is dietary approaches to, I think it's stopping hypertension or something like that. And it's basically reducing the sodium in your diet, eating more fruits and vegetables, etc. So I tried that, but my blood pressure was still high. So mine is hereditary, which there are a lot of people that have that, in this country. But I started to really pay attention to my sodium levels and what was in my food. And this is a really long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, in my 20s. And so
We're not that old. Like,
but
don't do
I'm
that
not
to
too
us.
old, right?
You're not too old.
Not too old. But I started when I was at the grocery store. I was buying something as simple as taco seasoning, and I would read the sodium content on it at the time. So, back in the day, we all read nutrition labels, not necessarily the ingredients on the food. And I was blown away by how much sodium was in it. And so I started making my own taco seasoning. So I would just use at the time cumin and chili powder, maybe a little bit of salt and pepper, and some like lemon juice. And that's what I would put in my tacos instead of using those packets of seasoning.
Right.
So fast forward a couple of years, I watched Food Inc., which I don't know if you've ever
It's a
seen
documentary,
it, but
right?
it's a
I have not
documentary.
seen it because I've been told both sides of it. It's either you're going to watch it and be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Or you're
I
going to
was.
watch it and be like, bullshit.
I was the first.
Or not care, really. Like, be like,
Or
yeah,
not
whatever.
care.
Who cares?
Yeah. And, I was blown away. And, it was a documentary. So I had to think, okay, well, they're, recording some of the worst conditions.
Yeah, they're going to put out the story and agenda that they want to. But
exactly.
it's obviously there's something there.
There's
Right.
something there. So a lot of what that movie talks about is, the meat industry, and, they're pumping them full of antibiotics, or, this may be the reason some of us have become resistant to antibiotics, things like that. So I really started to look at, organic meats if I could, or ones that said, raised without antibiotics, so on and so forth. And, it's difficult to find that. I mean, I think we all would like to buy locally when we can, but we all know that's a little bit more expensive, and sometimes it's difficult if you're not going to a farmer's market regularly. So, I did the best I could. We all do the best we can. And then continuing down that food journey, I really started to shop on the perimeters of grocery stores because I heard that was, more healthy, right? Fruits and vegetables, less processed foods. And I started looking at ingredients. And, unfortunately in processed foods, there's so many ingredients that don't really need to be in there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy and baffling when you think about it. And I started following 100 Days of Real Food, who's a Charlotte blogger.
Okay.
Her and her family, years and years ago, decided to cut out processed foods for 100 days. So they cut out everything processed.
A little over 3 months.
Yep,
Okay.
for 100 days. And she saw such a change in her children, and their, I think one of them might have had some stomach issues or something like
Okay.
that. But how they felt so much better in cutting out processed foods. She has a couple of cookbooks now and a Instagram page, which I follow. And I saw her speak at a junior league event one time, and I was like starstruck.
That's okay.
I was like that awkward girl that went up to her and was like, oh my gosh, I've been following you for so long. Thank you for, all of the education. And her first cookbook is really good, and it really talks about the ingredients in food, and why it's important to read those ingredient labels, even down to the breads you buy. So bread is one of, there's so many crazy ingredients in bread, and something will be marketed as, 100% whole grain.
Yeah.
But then when you flip it over and really read the ingredients, there's a lot of other stuff in there. And so, Ben and I, my husband.
Ben is her husband.
Ben
yep.
is my husband. We did. He's such a sport.
I want to ask you about
he's
that
such
too.
a
So that's
sport.
good that you bring it up.
I think this is probably we were dating at the time. We weren't married, so it was probably about 4 years ago. She had a challenge that she ran on Facebook, and it was cutting out processed foods in 13 weeks. And each week was a different challenge.
Okay.
So
Okay.
one week was no sodas. And I'm not a big soda drinker
I would
anymore.
kill that. I don't drink soda at all.
Yeah, but he was a big soda drinker. So that was really difficult for him to cut that out for a week. And then the next week was the ingredients. It had to be 5 ingredients or less on the package.
Of everything?
Yes, on anything
wow.
that you were.
Okay.
Not, so like if you're making a recipe and it has 5 ingredients in it, if they're whole ingredients, like
yeah,
a
but
carrot,
like,
yes.
But like if you were going to buy a package of something,
Correct.
it had to have, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So we cut out, we did this 13-week challenge. I can't remember what the others were, but it was in an effort to get you away from processed foods. And I felt like I was already eating somewhat clean. But then when I did that challenge, I was like, wow, there's a lot in these products in the grocery store that doesn't really need to be in there. Like it just was baffling to me. So it should be real food. So
you would think, well, you wouldn't actually. I was going to say, you would think that you go to a grocery store that you can find healthy stuff, but it's a business. And I said it earlier, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. Yep. Why do you think Amazon bought Whole Foods? Because the amount of money that is in that industry, it's wild. I mean, in this stretch of where I live, there are, if I started not even a mile and a half up the road, I have a Harris Teeter, a Publix, a Sprouts. I go past our house, I have another Harris Teeter. So I have 2 Harris Teeters within 2 miles of each other. Super Walmart, a Lidl.
What's a Lidl?
It's a German grocer.
Oh.
Lidl.
Lidl? I don't know.
Yeah, Lidl. Aldi. And if I go 2 miles to the east,
Probably
not even,
Trader
I
Joe's.
have another Harris Teeter. And if I go 2 miles over that way, I have another Harris Teeter. And then I have a Whole Foods 5 miles from me. So in this 5-mile radius, I have 8 to 9, 10 grocery stores.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, think about that. Just like in this little concentrated area of Charlotte, and because you got to go over the border to South Carolina, the amount of grocery stores that are out there trying to get, not to mention Earth Fare.
Yeah.
That's just 1 or 2 miles away.
Earth Fare.
It's wild.
Yeah, it is. And, it's crazy, though, because I remember even when I was trying to eat healthier, I know this is sometime when I was in Raleigh, because I remember trying to eat healthier and lose some weight or whatever that may be. And I would eat those 100-calorie packs, snack packs or something like that. And fast forward to today, that's not something that I would purchase, right? Because those packs, they don't really hold any nutritional value. So yes, it's 100 calories, but there's nothing in it that's nutritious.
Yeah.
So I think companies market their products to make them look more healthy or sound more appealing, and so people buy them, but they're not giving you any nutritional value.
Think about like diet sodas.
Diet sodas are terrible.
They're the worst thing for you. They're worse than regular sodas.
They are, because artificial sweeteners are,
0-calorie sodas.
Terrible.
Your body will take that, and I'm terrible at this. This is what I do all the time. I'm like the notorious like headline reader. Like I'll read a headline and be like, oh my God, yeah, and I won't like read the whole story.
Yeah.
But like it was basically like 0-calorie sodas mess with your body so much in your stomach, in your natural balance of your body, because you're putting something into it, and they're like, there should be something attached to these sugars or whatever else you're putting into me. And it doesn't digest it correctly, and it messes you up even more. Not to say, I mean, if you want to drink a soda, drink a soda. I don't really care. But, when you say 0-calorie sodas, your body still is not going to react properly chemically. And I'm no chemist or biologist. I was terrible at science
I'm not
in
either.
school. I was fucking terrible at it. And by the way, you can curse on this, but if you haven't picked up on that, you can curse whatever you want and say whatever you want. So, how we talked about this the other day when we had lunch together, and and I wanted to kind of just touch on it because you were talking about looking at ingredients and everything.
Yep.
It's not as difficult, I would say, as going vegan, right? Like,
Right.
being a vegan is insane.
Yeah.
I would never do it.
Really hard.
I would never want to. It's just not something that, unless a doctor was like, look, in order for you to live,
This
like
is what
have
you need
to
to
do.
do. Yeah.
But to relate it to going vegan, like, how difficult was it for you to actually like look at every single ingredient?
I mean, I really think the most important part is starting on the perimeters of the grocery store, you know, and really eating real food. So, you know, eating fruits and vegetables and, you know, protein, meat, eggs, you know, dairy, if you can eat dairy. Some people are either allergic or intolerant to dairy, right? But I mean,
you could go almond or soy or coconut.
Yeah. And I think that's the most important part. And then when you're shopping on, you know, in the middle parts of the grocery store, you know, I really think her rule of thumb, 5 ingredients or less, is great because you can look at those ingredients and if they look like real food, they're real food. So one of my favorite crackers is a Triscuit. I love Triscuits. And
You might
I
be
love
one of the
Triscuits.
only people ever.
I love them. Like I could snack on a whole box of Triscuits, but I buy the ones that are just, it's a low salt Triscuit and the only ingredient is, I think it's 100% whole wheat. That's the only ingredient, and maybe salt, right? And so I think just reading the ingredients, I'm not a calorie counter. I don't look at the calories. I don't look at anything on the nutrition label anymore. I always look at the ingredients instead.
Okay.
Yeah. And I saw a post one day that said, you know, stop counting or start counting ingredients, you know, instead of like nutrition labels or something like that.
I like that.
Yeah, you know,
because I do look at the nutrition a lot, and I'm like, I'll look at serving size versus calories on everything, even if it's healthy. Because I'm like, because it's all about, for me, it's like how I try and do. I don't want to say intermittent fasting, but like now I've kind of cut out my big breakfasts, and I'll do basically like a grapefruit and a protein shake, and I won't put a lot in the protein shake, and then it's a decent sized lunch, and then kind of no snacks. But I've been more conscious to look at serving size versus calories, but not ingredients.
You know, and I think depending on what your diet is, right? If someone is focused on losing weight, I still think the best way to lose weight is calories.
It's a calorie deficient diet. You have to.
You have to cut your calories
especially
down.
if you don't exercise basically all day.
Right.
Like if you're not burning off those calories and you're sitting behind a desk,
Yeah.
you have to have a calorie.
You do.
I say, you have to have one. Someone's going to be like, you don't have to have one of those. You could do this. Be like, fine.
No, but it's true. I mean, I do think calories are important. But I also think the chemicals are important, you know, and unfortunately, a lot of the processed foods are pumped full of chemicals. So, you know, it's kind of like stop, you know, counting calories, start counting chemicals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was shocked even, you know, in looking at something as simple as like a jar of pickles. You know, it should just be like pickles, vinegar, salt, maybe a couple of other things. And there's a ton of ingredients in there that seem completely unnecessary. A lot of them are preservatives, but, you know, can we eat more whole foods? Yeah, and artificial dyes, yellow, whatever.
You talk about bread,
in
like
there.
Why bread is so white?
Right.
Why eggs are white?
bleached.
Eggs are not white.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
My cousin, Lori, she lives in Long Island and she has chickens, and she'll have like a bowl of eggs, and like the eggs are all different colors. And she's like, you see, these are real eggs. Like these are not, these are not what you find in the grocery store. And I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. Like, sure. But like when it's in your face so much, like that's just what you know, like, especially growing up, like that's what you know. So educate yourself. What was the name of it? She has an Instagram. What was her?
100 Days of Real Food.
100.
I love her. Yeah,
she's still around.
Has
Okay.
an Instagram, and she's you know, she is a bit extreme for some. That might be tough, and that's why mine is mostly whole, Mrs. Cole. I like to think like
So I did want to touch on that, right?
Yeah, I like to think everything in moderation, right? Like progress, not perfection. I think it's especially if you've never ventured into looking at ingredient labels and moving away from you know, processed foods. It's really difficult to like cold turkey go into just eating all whole foods and, organic and things like that. But I do think every little bit helps because, it took me a long time. I'm having a beer. Exactly.
Your second beer, actually. So which is what I did. You can continue.
But I think she's a great person to follow because she's also very real. She's a mom and, talks about her kids' lunches, and her kids are always in the kitchen with her. And it's just really cool to watch. I think that they've really adopted this whole food lifestyle. But she's also, someone who educates on it in a way that people can relate to.
So Lindsay and I have tried over the years and as we continue to raise our kids and get older, as well as just being more conscious of like what we're putting in our bodies, right? Mm-hmm. Because that education really wasn't there 25 years ago, right? Like when we were growing up and like in elementary school and everything, like I remember just like school pizzas, and you never thought of any of that stuff bad. And like all that stuff that you would go and eat.
I know.
And I think even now, like Nolan is in kindergarten, and I have to believe that the cafeteria has probably better choices than they might have when we were growing up. And at the same time, I saw a commercial the other day. Bud Light is now coming out and putting their nutritional facts on their beer.
Really?
So even beer companies now are starting to catch on to this. And I like I said earlier, I don't want to call it a fad because I don't think it's a fad. No. I think it's more so people are concerned truly about what the hell we're putting into our bodies.
Totally.
And especially we as Americans, like, again.
Well, because, here in America, if you look at the back of a Coca-Cola, it's high fructose corn syrup is like one of the first ingredients, right? But
usually the first.
It probably is the first. And in Europe and other countries, it's sugar.
Yeah.
They put sugar in their drinks instead, which why wouldn't you want to just have sugar in your
Which
Coca-Cola
is natural.
instead of high fructose corn syrup. So,
it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. It's less expensive, and people are gonna continue to buy. Look, I love a Coke. Like there are times that I just want a Coca-Cola.
I don't disagree.
But I do love a good bottled Coke that the first ingredient is sugar instead of high fructose corn syrup. So, it's crazy to think about other countries ban a lot of things that we don't in America. So
we are in the world of the here and the now, and thankfully, we also live in the land of the free, to where we can make our own decisions in that, right? So you don't have to drink Coke. You don't have to drink these things. Unfortunately, they're in your face all the time.
Yep.
All the time. And it's cheap. So you mentioned earlier perimeter shopping. So I first heard that, and I'm not joking you. I probably first heard that 3 years ago when Lindsay was like, perimeter shopping is where all the healthy food is. And I was like, the fuck are you talking about? Like perimeter shopping. And now I go in there and I'm like, I get it.
It is. Yeah.
It is. Like all of your shit is in the aisles, whereas most of everything that's good for you, once you get into that, especially when you get kids, once you get in that dairy section and around the corner in the yogurts, if you look just to the left or the right where the refrigerated section is, that's where things aren't super healthy.
Right.
The ice creams and the, the waffles and the breakfast foods. But perimeter shopping, probably was never even a conversation.
Yeah.
Up until, let's say, 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
Because people just go into grocery stores and go,
and buy what you need or what you
I
want.
need these ingredients for what I'm going to make.
Exactly. Yep.
Why is it important to you?
Because I think
outside of sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Outside of, you got diagnosed with high blood pressure and everything. Why, outside of just taking sodium out, right? You took sodium out. Why is it important to you to eat healthy?
Because I feel better when I eat healthy. Like I genuinely feel better, and I've noticed a difference in my energy, and I'm not as tired.
Yeah.
I like going to the gym. I wasn't someone that used to work out all the time, and I know that I feel better when I'm eating more nutritious foods. So that's a lot of it too. Like it directly impacted the way that I feel. And, I question a lot of the ingredients that are in the processed foods. It's kind of like, why does that need to be in there? What is that going to do to my health long term? Outside of high blood pressure or any of that, like what are these ingredients ultimately are they gonna affect my health long term?
Yeah. So like you said that in the ingredients, and all I thought was Mountain Dew. What is yellow 5?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is yellow 5?
Right.
Because that's an ingredient. And I think of that because I used to drink Mountain Dew all the time. Big Southern drink.
Yeah.
When I lived in Rhode Island, nobody drank Mountain Dew. I came down here and it was like...
Everybody drinks Mountain Dew. Yeah.
It's like coffee for people. Like, oh, you drink Mountain Dew. I'm like, okay. And I started drinking it, and then you look at the ingredients, I'm like, what the hell is yellow number 5? Whatever. Okay. Yeah. All right. So it's important to you, just like an overall health perspective.
Right.
And it's important for your husband.
And I think too, it's, you always say, we always say like, use your dollars, right? So I'm not going to spend money on things that I don't necessarily support. And I just feel like there are so many companies that are marketing things as healthy, and they're not giving anyone any nutritional value. And, you're eating a 100-calorie snack pack and thinking it's healthy, but like 2 hours later, you're going to be hungry. Like it's probably just a bunch of sugar. Right. And so for me, I think about, I would rather, spend my money on things that are going to give nutritional value to me, that are going to make me feel better, and, hopefully long-term make me healthier. So.
You mentioned it, and I'm gonna bring it into the conversation now. You mentioned fitness. So, because that is a part of this show, but part of fitness is obviously eating healthy, right? So, like that is why you're on. Like before we started recording, Gabe goes, "What are we going to talk about?" And for most of you out there, if you're going to listen to this and want to hear about sports and fitness, like fitness in general and your goals for what you want to be from a healthy perspective does come down to the food. And we'll come back to the lifestyle and the products. Yep. But you mentioned fitness, so I want to touch on it. How does fitness impact your life on a day-to-day?
It is honestly a stress relief. So,
okay,
I wasn't someone that was like a gym goer all the time. And, when I moved back to Charlotte, I ended up joining a CrossFit gym and met a bunch of friends there. And so I looked forward to going to the gym because it was like a social thing for me too. But it's such a big stress relief. I think yoga is the biggest stress relief type of activity that I do.
Which a lot of people will say.
I love it. I mean, it's great, but it's also social for me. So I go to the gym in the mornings, usually 3 days a week in the morning. And I have 2 friends that I meet there at the gym, and that's my time to get to catch up with them. So it's a social thing. It's a stress relief. And, I would like to think that it's keeping me healthy long-term. Right.
Yeah. You're in shape.
So I just think it's so important. It's such an important thing to get into your daily routine or, weekly routine. If you can only go 2 to 3 days a week, which is sometimes what I do, I think that's great too.
And just knowing you don't stick to one gym, right? And not in a bad way, right? Because I go to one gym, but my goal is a lot different than yours, right? Like you want to experience a lot of different things in exercise and fitness,
right?
Which I think a lot of people do. And there's a lot of good programs and companies out there now that will allow you to be like, you don't have to have a membership here. Like you can have whatever they might call them, like punch cards or
class pass.
Yeah, class pass, right? Like, so I see that in just conversation with you and just following you and whatnot, where like you just mentioned it now, like do a CrossFit exercise or workout, and then, or I might do yoga the next day. So, I bring that up because I think people a lot of times just kind of get into this, especially in the new year, and that's what we're in, right? In the new year, it's, okay, this is how I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to go to this gym, and I'm going to do this every single day.
Yeah, that's
boring. But There you go. You said it. It's boring.
Yeah.
I go on 9 to 12 to 15 week programs.
Yep.
It gets boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it messes with you sometimes mentally.
Yeah.
So I think that's from an advice perspective is kind of what I'm getting at is I think it's good for people that if you get bored quickly, you don't need to sign up for a gym, but you could do the class pass. If your city has something like that, or if you wherever you live, there's got to be something that you can be a part of so many gyms and not be a member of.
I absolutely think so. I mean, I I like the variety because I am someone that gets bored easily, and so I think it's really important to know your personality and know what you like and what you're going to thrive on. So I am someone who needs group fitness classes because I really enjoy the social aspect of it, and I like the competitive nature of it too, right? So if I'm standing next to somebody that is going to push me, I'm probably going to push myself harder to work as hard as they are, right? So that for me is something that I really enjoy, but some people are not, they would rather do a workout at home, and that is perfectly fine if that's what works for you. But I think it's finding what works for you and, knowing that you don't have to do a membership. I am a member of, Rockbox Fitness here in Charlotte. So I am a monthly member there, but if I go to yoga or like a spin class or something like that, I get a 10 punch card and I use it when I want to go work out there. And then if I don't need to use it, I don't use it. So
what's Rockbox?
It's a boxing gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know when you said it. I was
yep.
like, I could probably put.
It's a boxing gym. So I
put two and two together, but I
wrap
didn't.
Our hands up. We have boxing gloves and hit bags.
Have you ever done 9 round?
Yep. I did 9 round. I did class pass for a little while. When I was in between gyms. So I did CrossFit for a long time, and then I was just ready for a change. And because CrossFit is heavy weightlifting a lot, and I was really more into the endurance aspect of it. And, it just didn't make sense for me to pay for the membership when I wasn't really doing the weightlifting anymore. So I was in between gyms looking for something else. So I did class pass for a couple of months, and you can try out a ton of different gyms, different times. And, it was really fun.
So we've talked, I've had a few guests on here. I've had one person, my friend Mike, big CrossFitter. I have friends that have participated in the CrossFit Games. I have had guests on here as well that are not so on to CrossFit. I have my own opinions on CrossFit. I do follow CrossFit. I follow CrossFit athletes. I think there are a lot of benefits to it. At the same time, I think there are some things that they need to address, especially on how they conduct some of their certifications and also getting people into, like you mentioned, lifting, Olympic style lifting that are not prepared to do Olympic style lifting. I've been working out basically since I was 16, 15 years old. I'm 34. So almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And there are some Olympic style lifts that I still suck at that I've been doing for 20 years. So I say all that because I want to understand from your perspective, what was it about CrossFit outside of the endurance factor of it? Like, what was it that drove you to go? Because when we first met, you were
totally into it
every day.
Loved it. Yeah. I think CrossFit for somebody who I wasn't going to the gym as much then, I was like a Y member, and I'd go like once a week, twice a week. Like, it wasn't my focus, and I really wanted to get back into working out. And I found when I moved to Charlotte, yes, I was moving back to my hometown, but all of my friends were married or starting to have kids. And I was like, I'm going to need to have a social network outside of that. And so I knew if I joined a gym and joined some other, networking groups and things like that, I would. And I think that CrossFit is such a good way to get people that have not been working out, or even people that have worked out for a long time, back into the gym, because you feel it's such a community, and everybody makes you feel comfortable. You never feel like you're doing something, like if you have to use 20 pounds instead of the prescribed, 40 or 60 or whatever, you're on your own level. Okay. And so I really loved that about CrossFit. And, I think for people that are goal oriented and competitive, it is just so fun. Like there are some times that I miss it because I miss that, oh, I need to beat my time on this, or, oh, it's, you have to finish in this amount of time. How many rounds can I get in on the AMRAPs or something? So if you have like a competitive spirit and you're goal oriented, it's a way to go in and like come out feeling really good,
Okay. So that's all we're going to touch on for that, which is good. I think, you talk about community, competitive nature, and just the overall acceptance. I think that's good for people because the gym and fitness can be very intimidating for a lot of people
to get back into.
I had Melissa McCurry on for RSP Nutrition, and she talked about the same thing. Like, even she's been going to the gym for 20 years, and like she'll still ask people like, "How do you use this piece of equipment?"
Yeah.
Like, and that's intimidating. Like, and I bring up my wife because you mentioned like people work out at home. Like she's more comfortable working out at home, and she's in really good shape. But like she'd rather work out at home than go to the gym because that's just not comfortable for her. Like totally fine. Finding a comfortable environment. So CrossFit community is what you see of it, and
I did. I just long term, it wasn't for me because I personally was never into the weightlifting. I was scared I was going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And so I didn't like lifting a bunch of weight over my head.
I don't like lifting weight over my head now.
Yeah, it just wasn't my thing. And people get hurt. There are a lot of injuries, and I just personally was like, okay, it's time to do something different.
You know why people get hurt in anything?
Their form isn't correct.
Form and ego.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, trying to lift more than you can, or yep. You're right.
Because in my gym, we fall into that too. Like I work out with my buddy Pete. I talk about him all the time. I'm like, Pete is much stronger than me in certain exercises.
Yeah.
In other exercises, I'm stronger than him.
Right.
At the same time, we kind of have that understanding. But if I walked into the gym and I was like, oh, I'm just going to work out with this guy Pete, and he goes and grabs, because he did it this week, goes and grabs 120-pound dumbbells to do on flat bench.
Yep.
I might sit there and be like, I can do that too. If I did that, my shoulder might give out. Like, because of ego.
Right.
The dog's itching himself.
What is that?
Yeah. He's awoken himself up and now just itching himself. I think that's good though for people to understand like why to pick a gym, whether it's CrossFit or not. Like find what is going to motivate you, right?
Totally.
Like if it's community, if it's competitiveness, if it's I kind of want to just be left alone. Like, what is going to get you to go there every day?
Well, and I think there's a lot of people go to burn boot camps now. I went to a burn boot camp. I did that for about a year. And, for moms or women that haven't been to the gym in a while and they go in, you really do feel a sense of community there. And there are so many different levels, and they have childcare. So like if you're someone that needs childcare and can't find another gym, it's really an awesome model, So that's been, some people love burn boot camp, and that's what they do. So I think you just really need to find something that is good for you.
Okay. All right. We'll come back to fitness at the end, but lifestyle, healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
And I don't mean eating.
Yep.
Because you and I have talked about this too. There's a couple things we're going to talk about on all of this. Home products.
Yep.
Because you've talked to me about this before, is you are now changing out a lot of what you would find on your regular day shelves, like a Clorox or whatever, for these other products. Cleaning product. Let's just use cleaning products, and then we can dive into further things. So, again, we talked about why changing, looking at ingredients, all those things. What's going to hurt me about buying Clorox? So, and I use Clorox because that's all I can think of at the time. But it could be anything. Like,
and look, sometimes you still got to use it.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Like bleach will take out anything. Believe me, it'll kill whatever you need it to kill.
When we used to have white grout in we just got our bathroom redone. But when we had white tile and white grout, the only thing that I could get that white grout cleaned is Clorox. So you still have to use it. But I really started thinking about all of the chemicals that were in my home.
Okay.
And thinking about the rise in cancer and things like that in
Yeah.
this country. And so for me, one, I mean, a lot of the products that you have in your home for cleaning products and things like that, the smell was just too much for me half the time. And then thinking about, why are all of these chemicals, are they safe? How do we know if they're safe for our health, right? So I started looking at things that I used in my home and started going to more like natural cleaning products when I could. I'm a big Norwex fan, so a lot of people haven't heard of Norwex, but
I've never heard of Norwex.
A lot of it is cleaning with water. So we have these microfiber towels.
That's right. We do have those downstairs.
Oh my gosh, I'm like obsessed with them. And so they clean better than any of my cleaners were, and it's just water, and you wipe down your countertop, and it's good to go. And they have this thing that you put on your hand in the shower, and you wipe down your shower every day with it. And so for me, it was more of the chemicals and what are they going to do to me? Like, do I feel safe having this in my home? And like, if I'm cleaning my floor with something, do I feel okay with my dog like licking that up? Right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
I never thought
if
of that.
she's going to put that in her mouth, is that going to make her sick, or is it going to be toxic? Right. Is it going to be something that really impacts her health? I mean, she's a dog, but still,
Sure.
I really thought about that because, if I'm cleaning my floor, she needs to be able to be around. So, even things like that, I'm pretty concerned with now.
Where can you find products like that are...
So you can actually, there is a really good database. So EWG.org, it's the Environmental Working Group, and they rate products, levels of toxicity. So you can do this in your cleaning products and in like your personal care products, but they have an app. It's called Healthy Living. Or you can go on their website. It's just ewg.org, and you can actually type in the product that you're using. So let's say it's Lysol or something like that, and it will give it a ranking. I think with cleaning products, it's an A, B, C, or D. And so D is the most potentially harmful to your health in terms of the number of carcinogens or whatever that might be, allergens, whatever in the products. And then an A would be more clean. Okay. So you can do that. The app actually has a scanner on it. So when I'm at Target and I'm looking at stuff, a lot of times I'll scan the product
and see what it comes up with.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Again, never knew this existed.
Yeah, it's a really, really helpful tool. So we've switched away from certain products to others, and they clean the same way, except for that bleach mention.
Well, yeah, look,
sometimes you just got to get some light.
Bleach is like I compare bleach to like Everclear of liquor. Like if you want to basically kill whatever's inside of your body, just drink Everclear. If you want to kill whatever's in your house, just pour bleach on it. Like it's basically the same thing. Healthy foods, healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
You are starting a challenge today.
It started today.
And she's drinking beer, which is a substitute for something. What are you starting today?
So we decided to do the whole life challenge this year. So poor Ben, he really is such a good sport.
When you told me about this the other day, I was like, Jesus, dude, your husband.
I know.
That's a good husband.
He really is. He's awesome. He's so supportive, like, of anything I do. But I'm not someone who sets New Year's resolutions, but I love a good challenge and like a goal or something to accomplish, right? Okay. And so we are doing the whole life challenge this year, and it is 6 weeks long, and it's 7 different daily habits. So you each thing is worth 5 points in a day. So it's nutrition. It is hydration, so you have to drink a certain amount of water each day.
Every day?
Yes, every day. Sleep, so you put a sleep goal down for yourself. Yeah, of how much you want to sleep, which is tough. But like, let's say you sleep 4 hours a day, and maybe you want to sleep 6. You put that in there. You set your bedtime for earlier types of things.
I would put 4.
4 hours, yeah.
Which is terrible.
Probably because you have the kids,
Because
right?
the kids and the dog.
Yeah.
And
I'm waking you up.
I get up at 4:00 every morning.
Yeah.
So, and not that I go to bed at midnight. I try and go to bed at like 9:00 at night.
So much.
But it's just because of the unknown.
Yeah, interrupted.
So if I could get average of 4 hours of sleep a day, yeah. See, you wonder why I act the way I do. Yeah. I have issues.
No sleep.
I have issues.
But a lot of people can't get sleep. I mean, that's a tough one I think that's my most difficult because I wake up early like you do, but I go to bed too late. Yeah. So a lot of times I'm going to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and that's not okay.
You know what I bought today to try and help me with my sleep is CBD oil.
Oh, yeah. Ben loves CBD oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. I mean, it's really helped with like stress, anxiety. Yeah,
and sleep.
Good.
So Pete, my workout partner, he takes it, and guys at my gym, one of them owns a pharmacy, and he's big into not big into it, but like he's talked to us about it. So I bought some of it today, but see how it helps with my sleep.
That's awesome.
And just anxiety and stress and life and everything. Cause
he has we have a cream too, like for muscle and like
that's the other thing too is like my shoulder's been fucked up since I was like 19 years old.
Yeah.
And all I do is just continue to basically work through it. So I probably have so much scar tissue in it. And like when I go on runs, like my knee, like every day I do something, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm getting so damn old. Like something else hurts. And it's supposed to help with inflammation. And the guy that owns the pharmacy that works out at our gym, he was telling me, he's like, I've started taking it, and he's like, and I used to take like 1,600 milligrams of ibuprofen a day. He's like, I don't take any ibuprofen anymore.
Just the
really, CBD oil.
Awesome.
And I was telling my wife earlier, I'm like, because she asked me, she's like, why do you want to do it? And you know, like I listed off like the benefits. She's like, oh my God, are you depressed? I'm like, no, I'm not depressed. I'm telling you all like the benefit, like it's supposed to help with depression and stress and anxiety. I'm like, which is great. But it also helps you sleep, and it also helps with like inflammation. I'm like, why would you not look at something that's natural,
right?
That exists in nature on this earth, versus something that's chemically created in a lab?
Yeah, totally.
So I bought some of that today. But I know we got a little off topic, but
that's okay.
Kind of got on there. All right, so whole life challenge.
Yep, 7 habits.
7 habits. Yep. Where do we stop?
So I think I was on hydration, maybe. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Mobility.
Start with hydration.
Yeah. So hydration. So water, drinking a certain amount of water a day, sleep.
Sleep.
Mobility.
That's what it was.
That was sleep. Yeah. So stretching for 10 minutes a day, which I never stretch. I'm so bad about that. So stretching, mindfulness. So this
Do you know how long 10 minutes is to stretch?
It's a long time.
10 minutes of stretching feels like you're stretched for an hour.
Yeah. Right. Like I don't.
You're gonna feel better.
And I'm trying to think of like when am I gonna work it in? I don't know.
I would start every morning for 30 days, and I would stretch for 5 minutes every morning before I'd go to the gym.
Oh, that's a good idea. And then 5 minutes when you get back.
And it worked.
Okay.
Because the first thing they say when you wake up is drink water.
Yep.
Hydrate your body, basically lubricate your joints, all that stuff.
Right.
And then I would stretch for 5 minutes. Because I take pre-workout, so 15 to 30 minutes before I go to the gym, I'm taking that. So I sit downstairs for 30 minutes, before I go to the gym.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So I'm going to sit there and stare at my phone. So I was like, all right, I'll stretch for 5 minutes. 5 minutes feels like a half an hour. So 10 minutes of stretching feels like an hour, but super beneficial. And then I stop because getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, just your body starts to you personally just wear yourself down, right?
Totally.
But I think that
one I might
do it.
I might really enjoy that part of it because it's not something I'm doing. So that's like a tough one for me.
It will. You might not see like huge differences.
Okay.
Like from a stretching perspective, like if you bend over and like touch your toes, be like, okay.
Yeah.
And then like 4 weeks later, you're like, I'm still just touching my toes, but you're doing it on an everyday basis.
Oh, yeah.
So your body's becoming more and more used to it, right? Like, and like, I saw somewhere it's like basically like it takes 6 weeks for a habit to basically
become like a lifestyle.
Okay. Yeah. So you can do something for 3-4 weeks, and be like, oh, great. But it takes that 6 weeks for your body to be like, no, this is what you should do.
Maybe that's why this challenge is 6 weeks. Because that's what it is. It's 6 weeks instead of like 30 days.
Look at that. We cracked the code. We cracked the code. I don't even know. I don't know.
That's what it is. But yeah. we'll see.
So stretching.
Stretching, mindfulness. So
what is mindfulness?
I had no idea. I was like, what is this going to be? I don't even know. Like,
you meditating?
I think you can.
Okay.
But I've personally never been someone that's been into meditation. Maybe I will be after this challenge.
Have you ever heard of this app, Headspace? So I have this app called Headspace, and every day at 3 o'clock, no matter where I am, it sends me a reminder because I told it to send me a reminder at 3 o'clock, and it is 6 minutes. I stop, and this guy with an English accent talks to me, and he talks to you about your breathing. Headspace.
Okay.
Yep. And you can get a subscription to it, and you can pay, or you can just do the daily meditation, and you set the time for it, and I set 6 minutes. So if I'm sitting in my office at work, 6 minutes. If I'm not on a call or whatever,
cool.
It is. He talks to you, and like it's all about breathing and like, okay, take that away, bring the noises back in, like focus what's around you. Now take everything that's around you away. It's actually kind of cool.
That's cool. I might need to download that honestly for it.
It's a free download.
That's cool.
But I would look. I sound like such a. If you would talk to me like 6 months ago, you'd be like, dude. And I would say this stuff, they'd be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, my friends would be like, is there something okay? Is everything okay? Is marriage okay? Like, kids okay? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm just trying to figure out more and more, like I mentioned, like CBD oil and meditation, all this crap. Like,
hey, I mean,
I used to drink 2 liters of Gatorade a day, like, or soda.
Like, I know. Ben was a big soda drinker. He's gotten so much better.
That's how I grew up. My dad used to drink a liter a day. Liter of cola
really?
a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably around what he was drinking.
Awful for you.
It's so bad.
Horrendous for you.
It's so bad. But yeah, so mindfulness.
Okay.
So they say, we got an email about it this week, and the challenge this week was to put all technology away. So not telephone, your cell phone.
It's a telephone.
You're
right.
I'm thinking telephone, like you're
not a rotary phone.
So phone, TV, internet. So kind of go without technology for an hour every day.
Okay.
And so I said to Ben, I was like, well, what are we going to do? Just like sit here? Like, what do we do? And that is like disturbing.
Isn't that horrible?
That's what I thought.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's part of the mindfulness. So it's like go on a walk instead or do something. I have no idea. So we'll see how that one goes. Talk to each other. Yeah. Have a good conversation. Hang out, You got
the dog. Play with the dog outside.
Play with the dog outside.
I mean, it is winter. If it was summer,
cold.
I'd be like, it'd be great.
That's the thing. It's cold, but that's going to be a really good one. And then I think it's reflection. So every day you write how the day went. So
see, I like that.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Write down something, how it went, whether it was shitty, good or bad. But when we're going to get into a goal later, but and you said you don't believe in resolutions. I don't either. I think they're bullshit because everyone's like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. And then they never do. And my friend Ashley, I love her to death, but her resolution, it was I think it was 5 years ago. It was I want to do a pull-up. 5 years later, her resolution is, I want to do a pull-up. And I'm like, see, it's bullshit. It doesn't, don't set stupid goals like that. Set, realistic stuff that can help you, right?
Yeah.
I lost my whole train of thought on why I was talking about goals.
I don't know, but
what were we just talking about?
Whole life challenge, goals. Oh, reflection. Writing it down.
Yes.
Writing it down.
You're more likely to, thank you. See, this is why I need guidance. This is what happens when I drink and then I try and have a conversation with somebody, a meaningful conversation with someone. So when you write something down, you're 40% more likely to accomplish that.
Oh, really?
And if you don't, yeah.
That's probably about.
And that is the first time I think I've actually said a statistic that is not made up on this show. By the way, 40% more likely to write when you write something down, you're able to accomplish it. So reflection, right? You write something down. Mm-hmm. It might not be a goal, but you can go back to it and be like, ah, man, I got upset about this, or this sucked today. I won't let that affect me tomorrow.
Yep.
And you're potentially 40% more likely not to let that affect you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And even looking at, the nutrition part of it, what you ate that day.
Yeah.
If you fell off the wagon, and why, and things like that. So I'm excited about it. It's different. Like it's totally different challenge than we've ever done, but I think it'll be good. We have a group of, I think there might be 10 in our group.
Okay.
So you could sign up and there's like an app. So you all track your points and you can see who's like winning or push each other, things like that.
So you need to come back in 6 weeks.
I know.
You and maybe somebody from the group and talk
Say
about it.
how
Like,
it
how
went.
did it go?
Okay.
Like,
That's a
because
good idea.
I want to know, I don't care about like the nutritional crap. I want to know like the reflection and like the writing down, like how'd the mindfulness go?
Yeah. If I'm all of a sudden like into meditation.
Yeah, this huge Zen warrior, like, it was great. I could really zone in on my inner self, and I wrote things down, and I was just like wish it away, and it was great. I think good for you.
Yeah, it'll be cool. We'll
6
see.
weeks.
So I'm not supposed to be drinking on it. So whatever.
It starts after this.
Yeah. Well, you can have one. The nutrition plan I chose was one spirit, wine, whatever, a week. And so if you have more, you deduct points. So I'll just
She's
deduct
already
points.
in
That's fine.
minus.
Whatever.
She's in the negative.
Mostly whole, Mrs. Cole,
Mostly whole.
everything in
Yep.
moderation. It's cool.
I would be remiss if we didn't talk about it because we started it and you brought some stuff.
Yeah.
So you as well, you mentioned it earlier, Junior League.
Yes.
What do you do for Junior League in Charlotte?
So the committee that I'm on, it's actually, it's hard to explain, but the Junior League has not only like a service side, but they also have internal committees, right? So it's a group of women that service the Charlotte Mecklenburg area, right?
Okay.
And so when I first started, I was on a committee called Kids in the Kitchen, and we would go out to schools or community partners, and we would talk about healthy eating for kids. And so when we were growing up, it was the food pyramid.
Yep,
Remember that? So
of
now they
course.
have the My Plate. And it's literally a plate broken into 4, and it has your, food groups. So it's your whole grains, your protein, your fruit, your vegetable, and then off to the side, it's your dairy. So we would talk to them about the My Plate. But now the committee I'm on, I am the vice chair of one that's over the other community partners.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, it's hard to explain.
No, that's
but-
fine. So you do that.
Yep.
You have a full-time job.
Yep.
You're a wife.
Yep.
You're a dog owner. You have mostly
Dog
whole
owner.
Mrs. Cole. Healthy lifestyle, whole life challenge.
Yep.
What else do you do?
So part-time, I'm a beauty counter consultant.
Okay.
So
And I want to talk about this
this
because
is my side gig.
I did not know up until, was it Friday? Yeah, Friday. When I posted, misconception on my part, my assumption, women only. It's not.
No, it's not.
They're a men product.
We just came out
male
with a
products
men's line, which I'm super excited
Okay.
about. Yeah.
So, beauty counter.
Yes.
How long have you been with
Almost
beauty
2
counter?
years.
2 years.
So I started in March of 2017.
Okay. Out of the flooded community of cosmetics, let's say cosmetics, because I would say, I don't know, how do they define themselves? Is it cosmetics? What industry?
It's beauty.
Okay.
Yeah, personal care products.
Okay, personal care products.
Yep,
There you go.
Personal care.
In the personal care product industry, it's a flooded industry.
It is.
Why beauty counter over anything else?
Anything else? So I honestly was not looking for a side gig. It wasn't like something that I was looking for. And, like we talked about, I had been cleaning up my eating for a long time. And one of my friends was like, "You're so funny about what's in your food. Why don't you care about what's in your face lotion?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Literally had never thought about it before. I never thought about it." And so I started doing some research and realized that there are a lot of potentially harmful chemicals in our personal care products. So I started purchasing Beauty Counter from a friend. I heard about Beauty Counter through someone, and I was really intrigued by their mission. And so I decided to join as a consultant. And at the time, I think I just needed something else to focus my time on outside of work, because oftentimes if you have a full-time job, you bring it home. And, I just needed something else to really focus my energy on. But what I love about Beauty Counter is they are, number one, transparent. So they're very transparent about all of the ingredients that are in their products. But they also ban over 1,400 ingredients. So and this is something that not a lot of people know. I did not know this when I started. There are only 30 ingredients that are banned in the U.S. from products. And in European Union and other countries, there's more than 1,400. So beauty, yeah, it's crazy. And the ingredients that we're talking about are potentially harmful, right? So known carcinogens, some are endocrine disruptors. So you look at people that have infertility issues, cancers are on the rise, things like that. And so I thought, this is a really good company to partner with. And not only do they ban ingredients, but they're also education based. So we share about how to find safer options, whether it's Beauty Counter or not. We'll help you find safer options. But outside of that, I think it's a great company. They're also really into advocacy. So some consultants join just for the advocacy work. So they actually go to DC and are lobbying for more regulations in the cosmetics industry.
So they're not really pushing the product; they're more so pushing the
regulations. Yep.
Oh wow! Okay.
Which not many companies do. Like, when in your own industry would you be lobbying for more regulations, right? And so, I think that's crazy.
In our industry,
well.
Which we don't talk about our jobs here, but you might, because it helps us get more money.
This is true. But it's crazy though, right? So I just became more and more passionate about the ingredients that are in personal care products. And I realized that it was so close to the food industry. Mm-hmm. So companies can market something as healthy, like, the 100-calorie packs. And similarly, in the beauty industry, something can be labeled as natural, which natural isn't even a regulated term. So if a company says, "Oh, this is all natural," whatever, what does that even mean? So, yeah, crazy, right?
You know what Lindsay told me yesterday was when you have to even look for companies that will put grass-fed on a label. Because it could mean they were grass-fed for 1 day, and that meets the requirement to be a grass-fed product.
It's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, and that's what I started realizing. It's so eerily similar in the cosmetics industry, and if not worse. So the last time there was actually a federal regulation was 1938. 1938 was the last time we had a regulation in the cosmetics industry. And you think about the number of chemicals that are introduced every year, and they don't have any safety data. So, companies are pretty much allowed to put whatever they want in the products with no regard to the safety or if it is safe for human health.
So all I've thought about the whole time that you've been here talking about these things is trying to figure out what we can do to create the next big thing in America, right? You talked about we talked about food. Oh, well, everyone wants to worry about the ingredients that are in their food. Well, then you talked about the chemicals that are in your cleaning products. Mm-hmm. What about what's on your face? So the whole time you've been talking, all I can think about is like, what else do we do on a day-to-day that no one's tapped this market? Like, how can we become the next? No,
it is kind of crazy though, because even the pet industry, they've there's all these products out there now that are like natural.
Oh, let's not talk about the pet industry. I got this old ass dog that I pay so much money for his bullshit food that I think he's more hungry now than he was when I was giving him his regular food. Now he probably is healthier because he's not dying anymore. Because if you listened, I've spent thousands of dollars on this stupid dog over the last couple of years or months. But
it's crazy, right? Though, but people are drawn to that now. Like they want cleaner
it's important.
Options. Yeah,
right. Like just think about overall conversations we have around just the environment and everything else. Like right, you start at the environment, right? That's the big thing, and then it's a trickle down effect to where it's like, all right, what else are we doing that we're just so used to, like you said, 1938 was the last time there was a
1938.
regulation.
And I didn't know that before I joined Beauty Counter. I didn't. And these are things that I've learned since I joined, which impresses me with the company even more because they are so education based. But for me, it was like I could join any cosmetics company. I mean, the beauty industry is a, huge industry here in America. I mean, like everybody uses.
It's got to be billions of dollars.
It's billions of dollars. And I mean, I did a count the other day before I left my house because I heard this statistic that women usually use at least 12 on average personal care products before they even leave their bathroom in the morning. And I was like, really? Exposing them to all these different chemicals, right?
Yeah.
And so I counted mine and I had 7 and I didn't even wash my hair that day. But it was like body wash, deodorant, face soap, face lotion, whatever. And so it's a really, really big industry. And then clean living, healthy living is another huge industry. So Beauty Counter's really in the intersection of that. So you think about joining a company that, not only services those that are into healthy living, clean living, whatever, but also are, looking to clean up their personal care products. So I love it. It's cool.
I see you go on like retreats and things like that for it. So which you can all see. It's not a bad thing. Yeah. I think it's cool. I think look, I'm not somebody that I judge everybody. Okay. So like, as terrible as I judge everybody, but at the same time, what I do appreciate about a lot of people is when they can cut out the bullshit and they actually are passionate about something, because there's plenty of people that are fake passionate about something because it's important to me to, save the penguins. Like, give me a fucking break. Like, when was the last time you saw a penguin that wasn't in captivity? Like, if you live in the United States, like, give me a break. Yeah. But at the same time, for people that are truly passionate about this stuff, and I wouldn't have you on if you weren't passionate about it, and I have you on because it is something that I see day in and day out. Yeah. And again, I mentioned 5 years that I've known you, like the day in and day out of it, like it is something that is important to you. Yeah. And that's what I appreciate. Now, and I'm not saying for you, I'm saying for anybody. Do I agree with all of it? No, I don't have to agree with all of it. And you don't have to agree with everything that I believe in. But what I do appreciate is the fact that you are somebody that has conviction about it and that it's important to you. And I see it now, like even like Lindsay and I, look, there are times it's like, we did well. We ate healthy this week. All right, let's get pizza or let's get Chinese. Totally. Like, it doesn't, but we try, right? Like, and I encourage anybody that's listening to this, like, it doesn't have to become this crazy lifestyle for you, like that you have to do. Like you said, mostly whole, but try some of it. Like, look at what you're putting into your body. Totally. Look at, and I would have never thought of it. Like, look at what you're spraying around your house. Yeah. Look at what you're exposing your family, your significant other, your dog, your pets, whatever, to. Look at what you're putting on yourself.
Yeah, totally. That's what I started thinking about.
That's a wild thing to think about.
Isn't it? It is. It's like
I get out of the shower, put aftershave on. Have I ever looked at the ingredients?
No. Why would you? I never did. I literally never thought about it. And then I was like, maybe I should start looking at that. And I think it's important, because some people come to me and they're like, oh my gosh, do I need to switch out all my products? And I'm like, no, like when something runs out, maybe look at something safer. Yeah. Like none of us are going to throw everything away. I mean, there's still products that I use that I don't want to part with because I love them and they're probably not as safe, right? But I love them and I'm going to continue to use them. And so I think, progress, not perfection, and everything in moderation. And so switching out things when they run out or looking at safer options. And I just love it though. It's been a really good thing for me to have as a side gig.
That's good.
Yeah. I have that
it keeps you motivated into moving, the direction that you want to go to in your life as a whole. Right. And we're going to get into some rapid questions here, but what's next for you?
For me?
From Mrs. Whole.
Mostly whole, Mrs. Cole.
Mostly whole, Mrs. Cole. Mostly whole, Mrs. Cole. _ right?
Yeah. It is mostly whole. No, it's at Mostly Whole Mrs. Cole. I
I
don't know
thought
if
there's an underscore. There's
Is
an
there?
underscore.
Look at me. I don't even know what my real
You're
Instagram name
terrible.
is.
How do you not know your own Instagram? Hold on. I got it. I'm pulling it up. Yeah, it's Mostly Whole underscore Mrs. Cole.
Okay, it is Mostly Whole underscore
And
Mrs.
if
Cole.
you see,
look at you. I don't even know.
If you see an attractive 30 some odd year old with poofy curly hair, that's the
me.
person you're looking for. Okay. All right.
Mostly Whole Mrs. Cole. Underscore in the middle.
Underscore. Yeah. So what's next for
So
Mostly Whole?
For me, I really want to continue to share like what I'm learning about healthy living, right? So I feel like I know a lot about the food industry. I've been learning for a long, long time. But I'm still continuing to learn about cleaning products and beauty products.
Yeah.
So I really would love to grow my beauty counter business more this year.
Okay.
It's a side gig, and I want to continue for it to be a side gig. I don't intend for it to be something full-time ever personally. But I really do enjoy it that much that it's been something that's been so good to have on the side that I just want to continue to have it grow. And I really just want to keep sharing what I'm learning because I really love educating others on what I'm learning.
I think that's great. We've talked about it in our coffees that we've had over the last couple months or whatnot. But I think it's if it's important to you, just like having the podcast is fun for me, and it's this. There's no side gig. Like I make zero money on this, but it is fun to have conversations with people that come from different backgrounds, have different thoughts than I do, but still have that drive to better themselves. Like that's why I do this. Like I want to better myself, in whether it's sports or fitness or just in life in general, and health and beauty. Right? Like I'm probably going to go look at what I put on myself now too. Like
it's funny. It's scary. I mean, the first party thing I had at my house, I had everyone pull out their phones and they downloaded that healthy living app I was talking about. And I'm like, just find whatever your face wash is or whatever, and what's it rated. And I'm like, sunscreens are the worst. Look at sunscreens first.
Oh,
and
I burn
was
too,
like,
so I'm going to have a lot of sunscreen on me.
Yeah. They were like, what? And it's just every little bit helps. And I definitely don't think you need to switch out everything tomorrow,
or maybe you should. Be more conscious of it.
Be more yes, exactly.
Conscious? Yeah.
Conscious.
Cautious?
Cautious.
Cautious and conscious? Have a conscience about it and be more cautious about it. All right.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're going to do rapid questions.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Favorite meal to cook?
Steak.
That's it, just steak?
Steak and, probably steak and
I want
vegetables.
A meal.
Okay. So filet.
Okay.
Filet on the stove.
Okay, I was going to say,
cast
how
iron.
do you cook it?
Yep,
cast iron.
Yep, with some butter. Have
Ghee?
to have butter. No, butter.
Real butter?
Yes, real butter. If I'm doing a filet,
Mostly
I'm doing...
whole. Remember that.
If I'm doing a steak, I'm doing real butter.
Okay.
With, I would say, probably some mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes or like roasted potatoes. And then either roasted, I love roasted carrots. We love roasted carrots at our house, or mushrooms. I know nobody likes mushrooms, and I love them.
Mushrooms are gross.
Gosh, I love them. Yep, that would be it.
It takes a lot for me to eat mushrooms.
Oh,
it's just,
man, I love them.
I just feel like they're just dirty. Even after I've washed them, they're just dirty.
They're like, you love or hate them.
Like I'll make a black bean burger, and then I'll look up recipes, and if they put mushroom in them, I go to the next recipe. I can't do it. It's gross to me. All right. Name one thing people don't know about you.
I sing. So I was in an a cappella group in college before a cappella was cool, before Pitch Perfect and all of that. Yep. See, you didn't know that.
I did not know this.
So Pitch Perfect, but that is, again, my husband's so supportive. We've watched Pitch Perfect 1, 2, and 3 together, and it's totally like
they made 3 Pitch Perfects?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you want to sing right now?
Nope.
All right.
But I do in the kitchen when I'm cooking. I am always singing. So he thinks my next thing should be like karaoke kitchen.
See? I was about to say, do me a favor, at least put like one or two stories out that
I'm
of you singing
yeah.
in the kitchen about the ingredients.
Oh yeah, okay.
That'd be great. It would be hilarious. It'd be eye-opening for people to be like, oh, this is the singing cook.
I'm gonna do it. Okay.
The singing
one
chef.
day.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
If you could live anywhere in the U.S., where would it be and why?
California. I just
Where in
love
California?
It.
Because you've done the whole coast.
Yeah, probably. I really. Oh gosh, that's tough.
North or south?
South. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely Southern California. Honestly, though, probably Santa Barbara. I really liked Santa Barbara. That was a great area.
North of Los Angeles.
So
if
that's
people
like
don't
more
know
middle,
their geography.
Middle
Yeah.
California.
It's north of Los Angeles, north of Malibu.
Yep.
Okay. Did you know? I shouldn't even said it because now I don't remember the name of the company. Damn it! It's an outdoor company.
Patagonia?
Is Patagonia headquartered in Santa Barbara?
I don't know if
I think it is. It is. It's Patagonia.
Okay.
Patagonia is headquartered in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
There you go. See?
Could go work for them. Sure.
There you go. Top 3 places you want to travel to in the whole world.
So I've never been to Europe.
Okay.
So we have to go to
We'll go Europe.
sometime. Yes. I would love to go to New Zealand.
Big
I would
listeners
love
in
to go
New
to
Zealand.
New Zealand. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'd love to go to New Zealand.
Outside of the United States, New Zealand is the largest listener base that I have.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Couldn't tell you why.
New Zealand.
Apparently, they like me.
Bring me there. I would love to go to New Zealand.
Okay, bring me there first before you bring her there. If we can get 4 plane tickets, that'd be great.
And then probably, I don't know. I've always wanted to go to Alaska. Just see Alaska. I don't know. It's cold, but I don't really like cold.
Yeah,
but I would like to go to
20 to 22 hours of sunlight a day in the summertime.
Yeah. So Alaska. Let's say that.
Think about how much you can get accomplished going there.
That would be bad.
So, like, if you go into that northern hemisphere during the summertime, like there, Iceland, whatever, it's like it is truly 20 to 22 hours a day of sunlight.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So, like, 2 o'clock in the morning looks like 12 noon.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
How messed up would your body be?
Totally
but at the
messed
same
up.
time, how much could you get accomplished? Because you would just be like, the sun's up.
Too much. Probably wouldn't be good for
It'd be fun.
us. Yeah.
Nah, it'd be fun. Best cup of coffee in Charlotte.
That one's so hard.
It's a rapid
There's
question. You
so
got to answer
many.
it quickly.
Okay. Not just coffee.
Doesn't matter what location, not just
No.
coffee.
Yeah,
Okay.
just not just coffee.
Because they have multiple.
Yep.
Favorite account you follow on Instagram?
I would say Sarah Blakely. She's the founder of Spanx. And she
Okay.
is hilarious.
Okay.
And really motivational. Yep.
I would have not thought that. I would have thought like food or something.
No.
Okay.
She's so funny.
All right. You mentioned it earlier. Resolutions. I'm not asking a resolution. One goal for 2019. What do you want to accomplish this year?
A goal. Okay. Oh jeez. I want to get through this 6-week challenge.
That's
There's
a
my
goal.
Yeah. I want to
you go.
get through it and have a good
And
amount
be
of
in the
points.
positive point.
Yes. And be in and not have too many negatives from drinking beer.
Even if it's 1. If you're a +1, I think that's a victory. I think it's a victory. Look, the fact that you're going to have to potentially... Alcohol is a minus every time you have it.
Yep. It's tough. It's gonna be.
I probably would be like a
gonna be
minus
okay.
1,000 by the end of the... And it would be like you did really well with the food. You were terrible with the drinking. But like,
Yeah.
well, I have 2 kids and a shitty dog. So, and I have this podcast where I drink on the whole time.
Of course you do.
If you had to pick one workout or one gym in Charlotte, if you were just feeling lethargic or whatever, and or motivated, doesn't even be lethargic, motivated. Say, I'm going to go here. Is this pitch perfect? I have the TV on, and
That's the girl from it.
I think this is pitch perfect. We're watching a commercial
Is it? I don't know if this one is it. But that's her. Oh no!
Isn't it romantic?
But
It
she
looked-
is in.
Well,
Pitch Perfect.
the other guy, the Adam Devine, or yeah. Anyways, all right, sorry. One workout
Yep.
or one gym to go to in Charlotte. What is it?
I'd say Rock Box.
Rock Box.
Yeah, the boxing gym. It's awesome.
Is there only one in Charlotte, or is there
there's
multiple
several.
locations?
I go to Rockbox Fitness Charlotte, but there's one in University, Steel Creek, Pineville. I think there's one in Pineville. I can't remember all of the locations.
Okay.
There's several.
All right, so they're all over.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
All right. Last question.
Okay.
What are you obsessed with right now?
Oh yeah. Gosh. I'm always obsessed with coffee. I love coffee. I think I'm a coffee addict, and I love finding new different coffee roasters, trying different beans from like anywhere.
We got a coffee grinder for Christmas.
Yeah.
And today Lindsay came home from Costco and brought, in Costco here in Charlotte, they have the Charleston Roasting Company.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to try that.
Yeah, I like them.
The only
Had
one
those
that
before.
we've done so far is Starbucks. And it's like everyone does Starbucks.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try something different. So
Every city we go to, I find somewhere to buy beans. That's my thing.
it is nice to know that I have that.
Yeah.
And for everybody that sits there and is like, oh my gosh, you grind your own beans. You know, it takes like 15 seconds.
We have a grind and brew. So
Oh, you have a grind and brew.
Yeah, the beans are on top. You just push the button.
See, we have a grinder, and then I take that and I put it in our brewer. But
Yeah, get you a
still,
grind
it
and-
literally takes. I don't need
still
to.
quick.
I don't need to be even faster than it is. It literally takes like 15 seconds to grind
yeah.
the beans.
It's so much
like
better.
6 to 8 cups of beans.
And
I
it's so
never
much
knew that
better.
until I didn't even ask for it. My in-laws got it for us, and I was like, all right.
That's a good gift.
It is a good gift. Saves us some money too, because
Yeah,
grinded beans versus non-grinded beans, there is a difference.
it's true.
All right, you have
good.
any questions for me?
I don't know.
You don't have to.
Gosh, I can interview you now?
Sure,
No, I'm
yeah.
kidding.
You can.
No, this is really fun. Thanks for having me on.
Oh,
I
you're
appreciate it. It was fun. This is
We've
really
talked
fun.
about this for a while.
I know. It has been. But I'm not like I didn't ever listen to your podcast. Remember? I was like, I have to apologize.
You don't have
I'm a
to
late-
admit that
I'm
on
a
here.
late adopter. Well, I was a late adopter, and then I was like, that was really good. That's cool.
Listen. Okay. First off, I don't need to brag about myself, but I am really good at everything I put my effort into.
You are.
I try. You
would say
held
that.
up a finger.
That
Okay.
was good. You
Okay,
were.
held up a finger as in this. I am good. Or you're like, but no. No, you don't have to any questions for me. I always want to ask because some people, like I had my father-in-law on last week and he
What
wanted
did
to
he
ask.
ask?
I can't remember. I was drunk.
Really?
True story. So we drove down to Florida, got to his house, and I drank a whole 6-pack of Voodoo Ranger Juicy IPA.
Oh boy.
And we talked for an hour and a half. And then I said, do you have any questions? And actually, while we've been recording, he texted me and he's like, we're listening to the podcast now. And I'm like, I don't remember any of it.
Really?
I take that back. I remember most of it, but towards the end of it, got real hazy.
That's so funny. I love that you drink on these all the time.
I don't care.
That's the best way to do it.
Look, I always joke.
You can
like,
never take yourself too seriously, right?
No one's listening. My parents are listening. They're probably not listening. They don't even know how. They don't even know what a podcast. My dad, when I tell him that I do this, he's like, "So you a radio host?" I'm like, "Yeah, I host a radio show, Dad."
And
Now
it's
in
pretty
my
dang good.
bonus
it's so
room,
fun.
it is
I
fun.
love it. No,
So
but
now-
thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Thanks for
I love
coming all
it.
the way down.
It was a drive.
It was a scenic drive,
It was a scenic drive.
and
there's a Sprouts around here, so I can
which
go
you're
to
going to go hit up
Sprouts.
the grocery store. You know,
Absolutely.
super really fun stuff that we do when you get into your mid 30s. That's how Gabe came into my house. She's like, I saw the Sprouts. I'm going to go there on the way home. I was like, "Ah, cool. You got to go to the grocery store."
It's
Oh
sad.
God, what have we done?
Sad.
What have we done? There's no clubs down here. There's
Oh, that's okay.
there's grocery stores.
I got the Sprouts, and that's pretty
Got the
awesome.
Sprouts.
Yeah.
All right, I think we did it.
Cool.
You did it. I didn't do anything. I sat here and drank and
Talked
Listen to
for
your
too
story.
long. That was fun.
no, we didn't talk too long.
No.
Like I said, no one's listening. Just my parents. So we're fine. All right.
cool.
Anything else? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. No.
Well, thank you for coming by.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me.
putting up with my children.
I'll let you know how the 6-week challenge goes.
Yes. So,
Cool.
well, what I would like to do is I want to bring you back and bring Ben
So-
back. or somebody else.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's bring. If Ben's not into it,
he would he would be funny. Okay.
Or we bring Ben back with somebody else from the group. We get
Good
a
idea.
different perspective.
Ooh, yeah, on how it went. I think that's a good idea.
Sit right there and
Listen
either
to
give him
him?
the stink eye, be like, bullshit. No, that was the best part of this.
Oh, that'd be fun. Okay, let's do that.
Because usually I have people sit here
Yeah.
and they'll watch the TV, which I keep on at all times. And then they'll also listen to us because I keep the TV on a mute, so they can't listen to anything other than us talking.
Right.
And then like you look over and they'll be like, you'll see like certain reactions. It's kind of fun.
Okay, cool. That's what we'll do.
So you'll sit on the
So
couch
maybe
and you
Amy
bring.
or Mary. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Ben. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Ben might not talk, but
Ben will talk. Ben.
Mary definitely would. She'd be fun.
Ben owes me.
He does, like, big
This
time.
is it.
I know.
This is it. This is it. He has to come on my podcast and talk about how he has to do all these challenges because of you. Yes. Yeah, he owes me that. Oh God, he doesn't know what he's in for. He's laying on the couch hungover today, isn't he? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Ben, if you're listening, you owe me, and in 6 weeks, my friend, what's today? Tomorrow's January 20th when this comes out, January 20th, and in 6 weeks, we're talking March?
Yeah.
When's it
Probably
over?
End of March. 6 weeks from today. I don't know when that is.
All right, so we'll say beginning of March.
Yeah.
We'll get you back sometime
Okay.
in March,
That sounds good. That'll
and
be
we'll
fun.
talk about this.
Awesome.
I'm
Yay.
excited. Well, thanks for coming by.
Cool. Thanks, Ryan.
All right, how do we get in touch with you? One last time?
Mostly whole
Underscore.
_ Mrs. Cole.
Anywhere else? How do they find you, Beauty Counter?
Actually, there's a link on my Mostly Whole Mrs. Cole.
All right.
Yep. Or
So
it's
click-
beautycounter.com/Gabe Cole.
There you go.
Yep.
All right. COLE.
COLE.
There's no other way.
GABE.
There's really no other way to spell Cole.
KOHL, I guess. Coles.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yeah.
What do I know?
COLE.
What do I know? Gabe is short for?
Gabriella.
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 I always
Did you
thought it
not
was
know that?
Gabrielle.
No, Gabriella. Gabriella.
See? 5 years. What if people don't know about you? Your name is Gabriella.
Gabriella, not Gabriel. Mm-hmm.
Damn it. I thought I knew. Damn it. All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
This was fun.
This was so fun.
Did you have fun?
I had a great time. This is awesome.
You crushed it.
Loved. I don't think so.
No,
We
you
talked for
crushed
too
it.
Long. How long was this? Did we talk for like 2 hours?
No, hold on. What is it? Hour and 27 minutes.
That's a long time.
I'm just so personable.
You are. You're
Everybody
a good
says
interviewer.
that. Everybody says that afterwards. They're like, "Oh my god, I
You
talked
can
that
be
long."
the-
I'm like,
you can be the next Ellen. Just kidding.
okay. I mean, you could have gone like with a masculine person. Now I'll be the next. I'll take it. Ellen makes a lot of money. That's
She's
fine with me.
awesome.
I tell it to everyone. I'll never cut you guys off as guests.
Yep.
And 2, if you have a fun story, we're gonna talk. And 3, when you start drinking
It's just
and
fun.
having a conversation, people open up,
Yeah.
and that's what 2 cents is worth.
True that.
2 cents is worth. That doesn't make any sense. And that's where we're gonna end. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.